Yeah.
No, don't blow up cars. Don't blow up cars.
No, Chase. Radicalize them.
Okay. Let's do some radicals. Here I go radicalizing again.
How hot is it inside your room, Chase?
It's so hot, you could... no. Okay, hold on. It's so hot, it makes the PS4 seem very cold when it's running.
Oh!
Got him, PS4. Put on blast.
Put on blast. But is it... My real question is, though, is it hotter or colder than a Sacramento summer?
I feel like it's slightly cooler in here than a Sacramento outside summer.
Damn, that's hot.
Like blow for blow. I'm imagining like 110 though, like the worst day.
Yeah.
I still think it's a little bit cooler. It's not great. I will say it's not great in this room.
It's not good in here.
It's not great. It doesn't feel good. I can feel the sweat already building up that wasn't there moments ago. But we make sacrifices for the podcast, David.
You sure do. And
sweat it out.
Sacramento's hot, man. Don't move there. Go away.
Everybody go away from Sacramento. Make the housing prices drop, please. David, it's video game Podtimism.
Is it?
It's the Optimists video game variety show where two best friends, hot best friends, talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase, and it's probably 95 degrees in here.
And I'm David. I'm the cool hot one.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Dang, I do.
You feel me?
So I sometimes will put a little shoebox outside of my house that says video game Podtimism feedback, and I just sort of wait for the results to kind of come in.
You just stand in your doorway, just smiling, just waiting for someone to come by.
Just waiting. I opened it up today, and we do have a few items that I would like to go over with you.
Oh, sure, okay.
Hopefully for positive improvement. The first is that they wanted more sound effects to be made with our abs, our rippling abs.
I definitely have those, so be prepared.
Definitely, me too. My bod is hot. Want that bod? Hot bod.
I want that bod.
I spray myself with bod every day.
Those are the weirdest commercials.
Yeah, dude. Hot bods abound.
Hot bods abound.
So yeah, hopefully we can work in some more sound clips with that.
Is it just gonna be like us crunching?
We can crunch. I was hoping to kind of like play my washboard abs with a Nintendo cartridge and just sort of see what auditory experience that creates.
So like ASMR kind of.
I think so.
Okay.
It could be some sort of musical instrument, but I guess it just depends on what sounds come out of it.
Because who knows what sounds are coming out of there?
Who knows? The next is that there aren't enough Hideo Kojima references in any of our podcasts.
I've been thinking the same thing recently.
Yeah, they're like, when you guys say punished blank every single episode, and that's the joke, they're like, I get it. I just want more of that.
Punished listeners.
God damn it. It's funny every time is the problem, you guys.
It's probably the best joke ever, which is why we keep doing it.
Yeah, so sorry on that one. We will get more Hideo Kojima references in there, I promise.
Yeah.
The next one, just sort of in all caps, says, Wario, need more Wario. His big round body and pointy mustache needs attention. More Wario.
Okay, all right.
I'm assuming that's a big Wario fan.
That's almost a cry for help.
Yeah, it sort of does read like that, huh?
Yeah.
Like maybe this wasn't the box he intended to put this in.
Like maybe he's actually been kidnapped by Wario and is just trying to bring attention to himself or herself. Could be lady.
Yeah, I think maybe they meant to drop this in the Wario complaints or the Wario lack of complaints
or the police tips box
or the police. I think the police is probably a good place to put this one. I'll go drop this off at the police station. We
need Sting on the case for sure.
And somebody said the hot stats stinger smells bad. I know. That's sort of a weird one.
That's interesting. Are you sure you just didn't smell yourself? when the hot stats stinger played.
Yeah, that one seemed sort of suspect to me. I don't know that you can smell a sound.
Yeah, and this went through rigorous testing. I tried to smell it as best I could. I smelled nothing, but if it did have a smell, I'm sure it would smell like a basket of citrus.
We did do this. We put a blindfold on you and held various things up to your face.
Can you smell
and
it?
not held them up to your face while we played the hot stat stinger, and then tried to see if there was in fact a smell.
Hints of citrus.
A little orangey.
A little orangey. A little zesty, you know?
And
fresh.
The last one was that there just isn't enough sexual tension between us, David. I don't know how to remedy this problem.
I mean,
how are two lonely podcast hosts going to remedy this issue?
Oh, this is a different podcast. This is Podtimism after hours. Podtimism midnight.
It's video game after hours Podtimism.
After dark adults only Podtimism.
Where two best friends with benefits talk about the wonderful world of each other's bodies.
Two best friends with benefits. That's pretty good.
Man, if we had to record some sort of B-side, I would love to record that episode. That would be fucking funny.
Hey, Chase, what's your bodtimistic thing for me this week?
Ooh, bodtimism. It was right there in front of me, and I didn't take it.
What do you like about my baby? I need to give you a little preview.
That's nice. I wish I wasn't so hot already. David, have you been playing video games?
I have. I've moved on from The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
I took a break. I reevaluated my life choices.
Sat on some rocks, stared at the sunset.
Pretty much. Yeah, it was good to move on because I just needed something lighthearted and silly, and I got that. And I'm gonna sound like a big hypocrite right now because I know last week I kind of put this game series on blast, but it was for free on PlayStation Plus, baby, so I couldn't say no. NBA 2K20.
Oh, wow. The heel turn.
A heel turn.
You were saying all this bad stuff about how you just can't support them anymore.
Although I haven't supported them. I haven't given them any money. I'm just playing their product for free.
Sure.
This is how I've rationalized it. And I'm definitely not paying for any VC. But it's fun. It's silly. The big draw of these games for me always is the My Career mode where you get to create a character.
Sure. I feel like that's true of any sports game. Like, those are always the most fun parts.
Definitely. And just over the years, the create a character mode has become more and more elaborate with the story.
I was about to say, I kind of dipped my toes in one of them. There's like a storyline in a couple of them,
There's
right?
a story. For the last like three or four, I think they've really put more of an emphasis on the story.
Yeah.
With mixed results. Very mixed results, because this one you like started college and there's like this big feud between you and your coach who's Idris Elba, which is weird.
Whoa.
In the first part, just like, why is Idris Elba in this game?
Does it look like him?
Yeah, it's him. It's him in the game, and it's him as the actor, and it's weird.
This is Coach Elba.
This is Coach Elba. They call him Coach Ames, but he's just Idris Elba.
Sure.
I'm sorry, you can't make him anyone else.
Yeah.
And you get in there pretty quick after you make your character, right? Which was nice. You play like a college game, like the tournament championship for your conference, right? And then this goes into like this 25 minute cutscene. And I'm just like, no, dude. That is not what I want from this game. That is not what I want. If this
Directed by Hideo Kojima.
They made a big thing of it. It's like Maverick Carter is like a big executive producer LeBron James, all these players and celebrities in it. I'm just like, I just want to play basketball. I don't want all this extra
stuff. You guys are distracting me.
You're distracting me from the game. It just seems unnecessary, in my opinion. I don't go to NBA 2K for a story. I want to imbue the character with my own personality and not have this weird bro who I don't
this ghoul of Benavides.
Yeah, this guy who I don't really agree with a lot of the decisions or the way he acts a lot of the time. Yeah, it just seems silly. And Rosario Dawson's in it. She's like your hot academic advisor in school who you have a really good relationship with.
Whoa.
which is weird. And then also Thomas Middleditch is in it, the guy who played the main character on Silicon Valley.
Okay.
He's your agent. And just all these random characters. And then they have the NBA players in it too, and it's just their voice acting is so bad.
Oh yeah, no.
All the voice acting
I
is
sort
so
of love
bad.
that part of the sports games where they bring the real people in there and they're like, okay, you got to sell this line. And
Doesn't work.
They can't do it.
Doesn't work.
That is not the career path that they have chosen.
Yeah. And then I don't know, I don't care for the voice actor for the main character either.
Yeah.
The writing is pretty bad. He like tries to do an inspirational speech in his college locker room. He's like, "All right, guys, let me holler at y'all for a minute." I'm just like, okay.
This is not how David Benavides, the basketball ghoul, would talk.
The basketball ghoul. I don't know. It just takes me out of the experience of it being my character when they imbue him with this personality and characterization that I just don't think is me, personally.
Yeah.
But if some people resonate with it, that's great.
I do sort of wish that those games would just like not force you to make you.
Yeah.
I feel like they put a heavy emphasis on that stuff with like the import your face sort of stuff and like...
I imported my face. I did it. It looks pretty close.
And like calling it my career and stuff like that. Like you could, I don't know why you wouldn't, you could make a good basketball story. I feel like sports storylines are good. There are good movies about sports and shit. So like,
agreed.
It's not like you can't write that sort of thing. I think, but you're right that like putting you in the shoes of the person who is playing it does make it challenging to sort of like make the storyline believable.
What I'm trying to say is that there's some ludonarrative dissonance.
Wow. Yeah.
I've come around.
That the act of playing basketball is pretty far away from the story they're trying to tell here.
And then the act of saying that it's my career and my character, but they give me really no choice over what I do or what I say in some situations.
Sure.
Makes it very much not my career or my character.
Yeah.
Like they give you some things you can choose from, like, you know, choose your sponsor, you can choose your position, you can choose like semi-choose what team you go to. But a lot of the bigger narrative beats, you don't get to choose anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like in this, I don't know. It just seems unnecessary and not done super well.
Sure.
But the gameplay's fun though.
Sure. I mean, it seems like if you know how to play that game, it does seem pretty fun.
Yeah. So the gameplay is still fun and still enjoyable. It's definitely a grind of a game, and by their design choices, because they want you to pay for the VC instead of having to just play to make your character better. Yeah. Which is a bummer, but still relatively fun to play. Just kind of drop in and play a game and then go to bed. Sure. So I played that. Nice. Sorry to bust on it a little too much.
It's okay. We can be podtimistic about it.
I'm trying to be podtimistic about it, but it was one of my favorite games. 2K9 or 10, I think, were like some of my favorite games ever, to be honest.
Wow, nice.
And they've just changed so much since then. But anyways, I digress. Yeah. What else have I been playing? Oh, the only other thing I've played is Divinity. Started playing Divinity again. Yep. Mallory's back. Yep. We are back to role-playing as a elf battle mage and human cleric. Sure. Essentially. Still fun, still good, still engaged. Yeah. That game is just so thick. That game is thick with 2 C's and maybe even a third C, and you can see the 4th C kind of behind that 3rd C. You know it's just there, thinking but you about can't entering quite the word it yet. It's in there. That game it's so much. It is the meatiest game I think I may have ever played.
I keep waiting for you to bring that game and be like, I beat it. I finally beat it. And every time you're like, no, still in it.
We're probably a good 85 to 90 hours into it now.
Jesus.
I don't think we're that close to the end either. I think we're still like a full Last of Us Part 2 until the ending.
Good God. That is a lot of video game.
Yeah, sure is. So it's like I said, thick with maybe 4 C's even.
With a potential 3 to 4 C's.
Yeah, potential 3 to 4 C's.
Yeah.
1 C is 25 hours of gameplay.
It's a quantifiable C.
It is a quantifiable C. Yeah. C is usually 100 in Roman numerals, right? Is that what C is? Fuck if I know, dude. Maybe.
That's math. I don't know that shit.
You're a programmer.
So?
Anyway.
I ain't gotta be smart to be a programmer.
Fair enough. And then I played... I played Settlers of Catan online.
Oh, wow.
Like an
nice
electronic online version of it from IO Games, which is kind of like a Flash game website that still is around, which is cool.
Yep.
They call it Colonist.
Okay.
It's the same exact thing. It's the same thing as Catan. And they have all the different expansions and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. That was really fun. I played it with Mallory and Jahan and one of Jahan's friends, and that was tight.
Sweet.
That was really fun.
I keep hearing about board game stuff online that I need to check out. I heard Tabletop Simulator is really good and like fun. So I may have to get up in there.
What games have you been playing?
I've been playing 3 games, and I will go in order of the best games.
Okay.
The first game I've been playing is Paper Mario.
Ooh, you got the new?
The Origami King.
All right.
Playing that new. It's pretty good. It's a good Paper Mario game. I am not one of the like hardcore stans of Paper Mario who like am very upset that it is not a typical RPG insofar as like it doesn't have like levels for Mario. You don't gain levels by doing combat or anything like that.
So they changed it up a little bit.
I think for the past 2 games it hasn't been like that. Like they've gated your progress around different things than levels.
Sure.
In this one, you gain, like, as you go through the game, you gain access to, like, more health upgrades and better, like, weaponry to use. So you are increasing in damage and, like, your capacity to fight is getting higher, but it's not specifically tied to, like, a number. And you can't go, like, grind it out to get better or something like that.
Sure.
I think that's kind of a good thing. Like, they allow themselves to tailor the difficulty a lot tighter. Because it's like, we know you're going to be around this range of like health and you're going to have access to these weapons versus like, you know, we're not really sure what level people are going to be by the time they get here. Like, do we have to just like dump a bunch of experience on them to get them up to the level that they need to or anything like that?
Sure.
And then, you know, if they're not, do you just have to go grind for a while? So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. The combat is fucking hard though.
Really?
It's a hard, yeah. It's like you have to, the combat is laid out in a sort of onion layout, like a center cut of an onion where there's a center circle and then like rings going out from the center. Mario can essentially attack in different patterns through those rings. So he can jump from the first, second, third, and fourth ring, or he can do a hammer attack that hits like the front 2 and then a row behind it. The enemies spawn on the map and you have control over the map to like move it and shift it and like move them around into a configuration that best suits you to fight, I guess. It ends up being kind of fun in spots, and other times it's just so punishing and difficult.
Damn.
If you aren't able to get it right. Like, there's always a quote-unquote correct solution to any given battle, and if you don't get that, like, the enemies just beat the shit out of you for a while, and it's like, it's hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. It's a pretty good game.
Cool. Okay.
It's funny. I feel like that's hard in a video game. You aren't able to rely on like things that are normally funny in real life in a video game, and pretty much the only thing you can do is like funny writing, and it's so difficult to do.
Yeah, you can't really do like physical body humor in a video game. People have tried it always fails because there's it's such a specific way to convey emotion. Yeah. That it just always falls flat with animation, or at least it hasn't been able to be done well, I don't think.
That's good. I'm enjoying it.
Sweet.
The second game I am playing, the second best video game that I am playing right now.
Okay.
Is Ghost of Tsushima.
Ooh, Paper Mario's better?
No, the reverse. Ghost of Tsushima is better than Paper Mario.
Oh, Paper Mario's the worst.
Paper Mario's the worst. But it's not a bad game. Not at all.
Okay.
It is good. It is a different game than I expected it to be.
How so?
I think I was expecting something closer to The Last of Us, where it's like super story driven. And while that is sort of true, it's so much closer to an Assassin's Creed game than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
I happen to like that kind of game quite a bit, and like don't really mind that Ubisoft model of like, there's a bunch of shit on the map, go do it. I kind of enjoy that in my, I guess, ding boy sort of way of like, there's a bunch of shit that I need to do, and let me go work.
Checking things off the map.
Pretty much, yeah. But that's not to say it's not a fun game. I think it like the combat feels just very, very good. Sword fighting is just I don't know, man. It feels chunky and good, and like dangerous in a way that I feel like
chunky and dangerous.
Chunky and dangerous.
All right. I'll buy that game. I'll buy the description.
The DK description. Chunky, dangerous.
I'm out. Don't talk to me anymore. Don't talk to me anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's, like I said, different than sort of what I was expecting it to be, but not bad. I've seen the reviews for this game kind of be all over the place. Like, some people are like, it's fucking incredible, it's game of the year, and other people are like, this is not fun. I'm not really sure where I'm landing as far as that conversation goes, but I'm still enjoying it. It's fun. Sword fighting feels fucking good. So there's so many cool parts where it's just like, fuck yes, samurai. This is so cool. One mechanic that I want to call out that I just fucking love is that, like, usually in these kind of games, like, you can go in loud to any situation, like just guns blazing sort of stuff, but it is almost always better to do stealthy as far as like safety goes, to like take out a perimeter of dudes and kill another couple, and then like, okay, now I can just like shoot the rest of them, right? Or, you know, stab the rest of them or whatever. And so it almost behooves you to be a stealthy dude, but in this one, there's a mechanic where you can essentially stand like outside of an encounter or like outside of a group of dudes and be like, hey, come fucking fight me, and just like pull your sword out. And you'll enter into this like little mini game where you like put your hand on the hilt of your sword, and then you wait until they like come in to try and attack you, and you just slash the fuck out of them. And then there's like usually another dude who will run at you, and you can cut him down too real quick, like one hit kill. And then you can start engaging with the rest of them.
Okay,
and so it's a great way to just sort of like cull the herd of dudes that you're about to fight.
If you want more of an aggressive play style.
Yeah, and so it is a good alternative to being stealthy, and I really like that. It feels cool every time.
That's kind of selling me on the game a little bit.
It's cool. Like I think the game has a lot of highs and lows, but the combat is always a high. It always feels really good.
That's good. Because what I don't like about Assassin's Creed game, I don't mind the big map of things to do. Like, I love Horizon. Horizon was amazing.
Yeah.
And it's very much in that Assassin's Creed style of game. I don't like the game design itself of Assassin's Creed after a while. I haven't played the newer ones, right? I know they changed it, but just that repetition and just, I don't know, the lack of imagination and what you can do throughout the map just got to me after a while. But if they do the combat well, I'm interested.
That's definitely what I'm here for thus far. I'm definitely enjoying that part of it the most. I think especially if you haven't played the most recent Assassin's Creed, this will feel pretty novel.
Okay, sure.
Because that's definitely the biggest thing that I've noticed so far is like, damn, this feels really a lot like the most recent Assassin's Creed games. But if like you have, I think it's, what is it, Odyssey and then the one before that? Origins, yeah. If you haven't played those two, it'll probably feel pretty good. So yeah, that one's been pretty good to me so far.
Cool.
And then the final game, it's of course
Slay the Spire.
Ooblets, David.
What? Bugsnax? Is that what you said?
No, I mean kind of actually. Ooblets.
What is this? Some indie game again?
This is a game that I did not know about. I think it is an indie game. It was brought to my attention on Twitter, I think. Some people were chatting about it, and I was like, oh, what's this game? And then I go fuck around and like look, and it came out on the like Epic Game Store. I'm like, okay, I'll go check that out. And somebody reviewed or some description said like it's a combination of Pokemon and Stardew Valley. And I'm like, okay, let's see if it's really that good. I had a Epic Game Store coupon for like $10 off. The game's only $20. So I was like, let's get up in there. $10. I'll take a swing at that. Chef's kiss, this video game. Chef's kiss. Wow. It's so good.
Whoa.
It's so good.
Okay.
Where to even fucking begin with this video game, man?
Wait, so hold on. Let me just... Stardew Valley and Pokemon is a mixture of. So it's really just hitting all your dings right now.
A lot. So there are a lot of dings, but those aren't necessarily the reasons I'm here for it, because there have been kind of a lack of dings. Like, the dings don't come super frequently.
Okay.
It has the layout of kind of Stardew Valley, right? Like, you have a little farm that you hang out in, and you can grow some crops. That's definitely a part of it. That is, I would say, probably not the main mechanic of the video game, but it's a way to like make money and like do other stuff.
Sure.
You have a house, which you can upgrade, which It feels a little Animal Crossing at points.
Yeah, sounds like it so far.
And I mean, this game makes Animal Crossing feel subdued and like quaint by comparison.
Okay, sure.
It's so much louder than Animal Crossing.
It's just like Animal Crossing on crack or something.
Kind of like so yeah. You have your house, you have your farm. You like move to this town. So there's like a town square with like, I don't know, 20 or 30 people that live there. They're all like characters, and there are these things called Ooblets that are like hanging out and just, you know, doing their thing.
You say Ooblets with such a reverence and mystery to your voice.
That's kind of how I'm viewing it right now. I love these little things. So they give you an Ooblet when you show up, right? Like you choose like a club of kind of like Ooblet archetypes to be a part of. It's like, do you want to be hanging out with the cute Ooblets, or the outdoorsy Ooblets, or the antisocial Ooblets?
Choose your clique?
Like, kind of, yeah. I mean, that's what's going on. I chose the cute one, so I got a cute little frog thing. They give you one of these things, and then you can, quote unquote, like, fight with other Ooblets, right? But you're not fighting. This is not Pokemon. There's no punching or tackling. The way that combat works is the art of dance.
No shit. Really?
So your Ooblets stand in front of each other, and like you get dealt a hand of cards for your like abilities or whatever.
And it's a deck building game too.
It's a fucking deck building game. Oh my god,
Chase, this is your game, dude.
And like you get dealt a hand of cards, and you use them to dance essentially, and different cards are worth their different amount of points.
Oh my god.
It's a race to see who can get to like a certain threshold at a certain time.
So do different cliques of Ooblets do different types of dances?
Yeah, so each Ooblet does a different kind of dance. It'll deal you a different kind of card.
Okay.
I guess maybe not a different type of card, but a different card altogether. So each Ooblet has its own like deck essentially. And you can do like 1-on-1 fights, but you can also do like 5-on-5 or 6-on-6. So like it gets increasingly more difficult.
So you get more Ooblets too.
So what happens is if you beat a wild Ooblet, it kind of feels bad, and you go over there and pet its head and said, you did great, Ooblet. And then it sort of farts out a seed that you have to go back and plant on your farm. It'll grow you an Ooblet.
It farts out a seed.
You should watch some cutscenes. It makes a fart noise whenever it gives it to you.
That last sentence out of context, very questionable, Chase.
Sure, yes. I hope nobody cuts that part out.
Wow, okay. So you take its fart seed, and then you go grow the same type of Ooblet, I assume.
Exactly, yeah. All of them, like, I think they're all kind of supposed to represent, like, vegetables or fruits or something like that, so they're all kind of organic-looking little guys.
Okay. But isn't yours a frog?
It's like a frog mushroom thing.
A frog room.
And then you get a better team, and you go hang out, and you vibe with your other villagers, and they give you little quests to do. You do some more farming, and then you can go other places, and it's fucking good. The game is good.
So what happens if you beat another, like, villager's Ooblet? Ooblet?
I haven't been able to fight other Ooblets yet. That is not a thing I've gained access to.
Oh, you're not ready yet.
Apparently I'm not ready yet. I just got access to another area where I think there will be Ooblet battles, and I'm very excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rad. Sounds very unique and interesting.
It's so, yeah, it's definitely interesting. I guess I didn't even mention the art style. It looks fucking great. It's such a strange game. I wasn't aware of it at all until I like heard about it on Twitter or something.
What consoles is it on? Is it just PC?
It's I think Xbox and PC. I'm playing it on PC.
Would not strike me as an Xbox game at all.
I know, me too. I'd imagine they might have some partnership or something.
It makes sense.
So anyway, yeah, that's the best fucking game of the week. I'm way into this one.
All right, hell yeah.
So that will bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week.
Let's hear it.
Which is, it's watching people play video games, David.
Watching them play them.
Watching people play video games. This was a skill that I developed not that early in my life.
No, you didn't.
This was also a skill that I developed in no small part thanks to you.
True.
Because we had to at some point share video games if we wanted to hang out and play video games.
We sure did. Otherwise, we would just be two little nasty boys to each other.
Very true. And like I think both of us had an affinity for those single player experiences. So we were
most definitely.
I feel like got trained up in watching other people play video games.
Mm-hmm.
What made me think of this is that I have not been the main person playing Paper Mario in this household.
Oh.
What a twist.
Quiche?
My little dog Quiche has been playing Paper Mario. No.
My little blind dog Quiche.
She's killing it.
I believe it.
Emily Alice has taken a liking to this video game.
Great. Awesome.
It's very strange. It kind of came out of nowhere. Like, there was just one night where she's like, hey, can I play that? I was like, yeah, sure. Like, go ahead. Sort of just expecting that, like, the combat is kind of annoying, and, like, I feel like RPGs specifically are something that's not super easy to get into. Mm-hmm. That, you know, if she had said, let me play Odyssey, I would have been like, yeah, fuck yeah, this game is really good for anyone. But, like, Paper Mario, I don't know, dude. Like,
this is kind of a deep cut, Emily Alice.
A little bit. It's kind of niche, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like somebody suddenly saying, like, hey, can we watch this weird art house movie? Like, I really like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I've never seen a single movie in my life, but I want to watch this art house movie.
Yeah, like, okay. You know, she's definitely played video games, but...
Or I've only ever watched The Avengers. Let's watch an art house movie.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a weird experience, and I'm trying not to jinx it. Like, I haven't really been like, whoa, you like this video game? I've sort of asked, poking, prodding, like, what about this one isn't good for you?
Yeah, what's doing it for you with this game?
And I've gotten very, very unsatisfying answers, I will say.
Like what?
I like Mario games. But why this one?
Yeah, but you probably thinking, I've tried to play other Mario games with you and you were no dice.
Yeah, but
right?
this one gets it.
This one gets it.
So I have mostly been watching her play it, which has been sort of a nice experience because I don't particularly like playing through the combat.
Sure.
And so it's nice to be able to just be like, all right, I'll see ya. I'm going to go in the other room and do something else while you handle this part.
That's cool. Awesome.
But yeah, definitely it reminds me of some Dabien experiences of handing the controller off and just being like, I'm just going to experience this video game.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's kind of a similar experience I've had with Divinity and Mallory, where it's just
definitely, yeah.
This is the meatiest of meaty games, and you're just deep into it, which has been very surprising to me. Whereas things like Smash, she's like, no, I will not touch Smash.
What's the word I'm looking for? Like unpredictable in a certain play? Like I wasn't expecting it to be this way.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it being a relationship. It just keeps surprising you.
Just keeps surprising
me.
What's your Podtimistic thing this week, David?
My Podtimistic thing is how video games can streamline and simplify experiences.
Are you thinking of the create a character?
No, but that's also pretty good.
Sure.
I'm thinking about playing Catan online.
Oh, fair, yeah.
It played really well, and it was the quickest game of Catan I've ever played in my life, which was cool. It's just like sometimes those games drag on for like 2 hours, and there's just so much fuckery between people of, I don't know, can I give you 3 sheep for it? And then someone's just leading them on knowing they're going to say no because fuck this guy, right?
Yeah.
And just being like, sweeten the pot maybe and I'll do it. Because there's timers, right? So you have like a certain amount of time that you can have to do your turn or to do trades or to even roll the dice or to place the robber. So it's like you really have to be in it to win it at every second, right? Because otherwise it's just going to do something at random that you might not want it to do.
Yeah.
So it really just keeps things going. And it's also really nice not to have to clean up everything afterwards.
Oh, shit. Yeah, true. A lot of pieces that you don't have to put away.
Yeah, always the worst thing. And you're not going to lose any pieces. And it's not going to be like, oh, blue only has 11 roads. Sorry, guys. I lost the other 2 or 3 or whatever it is. So that was really good. That was a fun experience because I've played a little bit around with like other like app versions of popular board games, but they've just never been very fun. Yeah. But this one, it was really easy to get a group of people together on separate devices and play together. It was just like very simple, straightforward, quick. Yeah. Which was great. So that was really fun. It was really good. It was a great experience, and I recommend it to anybody who likes Catan.
I think I've played some kind of digital Catan before. I don't remember how, but I think I have done it. And you're right that it goes like worlds faster than than a physical game of Catan.
Yeah, and there's like a little bit less hurt feelings because it's just the sunk cost of the time isn't quite there. Whereas like, I was winning for 40 minutes, and then the last 5, you took everything from me and burned my sheep to the ground.
This is not exactly the same thing, but I definitely get the frustration of time sunk. Like, there's... I'm going to divert the conversation. Right? Dota. Dota games can last a fucking long time. Like, the vanilla regulation length of a Dota game is long. Oftentimes, like, upwards of an hour. Right.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a long game. And so, like, people get frustrated, and kind of rightly so, right? Like, if you're wasting somebody's time of, like, you know, you've been playing this game for 50 minutes, and suddenly they're like, fuck it, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm just going to go throw the game. It's like, dude, we've been working on this thing for a minute. There is a different game type in Dota called Turbo, where the game intentionally scales up like the leveling and how quickly you're getting gold. It's such a more enjoyable experience. Everybody's nicer. Usually you always get like a good game at the end of it. There's usually not very many hurt feelings. Everybody's just like kind of fucking around in there. And it's a great feeling because like those games only last 20 to 30 minutes, which is already kind of a long time.
So that's like, that's a good chunk of change.
It's still a good chunk of time. So it's not like it's insubstantial, but it takes down the just like gargantuan like wasted hour and a half.
Yeah.
Down to like, it's a few minutes. That's fine.
Yeah, few things feel worse than playing like a 2-hour Catan game and like you're one turn away from winning just for someone to be like, oh, sorry, I actually had 3 victory points, and now I just have to build this one settlement, and now I win. Yeah, it's just like, oh, God, this world is awful. But I did win the first game quite dominantly.
Wow. Way to flex.
You know, I'll always be flexing on Catan.
I guess so,
Check out my sheep, baby.
Check out my sheep.
Check out my sheep. I got the biggest herd around. Sorry. That was Catan jokes. I don't know if we're there yet.
Video game boredtomism.
It's
the alternative podcast. That's the other B-side.
It's a different cast. That's the early morning. That's the early morning version of our podcast.
Yeah,
for the NPR crowd.
The public radio version of the podcast.
Oh man, public radio listeners on blast. That's me.
Welcome to Video Game Boardcastimism. We're going to talk about how cool Settlers of Catan is online today.
I'm interested in that radio hour.
I'm your host, Ira Albee.
That's someone I'd love to meet.
Would you like to move on to our main thing?
So long as it's Ira Glass.
It isn't.
I'll allow it.
Oh, God. I'm so fucking hot.
I see the pain all the way over here.
It's good games, David.
Hell yeah, baby. We back.
Oh wow, that's your first positive response to good games in a while. Usually it's like, womp, this part sucks.
Is that how I am? Am I just the video game pessimist of this optimistic duo?
You're the most pessimistic of this group of optimists.
That's fair. That's fair. For evidence, see my review of NBA 2K20 just previously.
Not moments ago. It is Good Games. It's the segment of Video Game Podtimists where we talk about the best games of yesteryear. Or no, the most okayest games of yesteryear.
Yes.
Forgetting our own segments. Mm-hmm. And we gush about the things that we love about them and then maybe reimagine what they could look like today.
Whoa. Okay, cool.
I've been waiting on this one, David. I've been sitting on this one.
You've suggested this one probably like 4 or 5 times already.
Yeah. I keep wanting to bring it and then I kind of back off because I'm scared. I'm scared of the responsibility.
Yeah, you're like looking at the button and you're just like, no, not yet. And you put the cover back over it.
I'm launching the Megaman nuke today, David.
You sure are.
We are not talking about Mega Man Battle Network. We already did that one. Go listen to that episode. Mm-hmm. Today we're talking about Megaman Legends.
A game I never even knew existed up until recently.
Until really recently? Is that true?
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, I'd heard of it. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm surprised I didn't try and get you to play this back in the day. I was pretty crazy about it.
You might have, but I just was not a Mega Boy.
That's fair. That's fair. So before we get into it too much, let me hit you with those hot stats.
Hot stats.
It came out in North America September 10th of 1998. A minute ago. That was some early 3D video game times right there.
That's real new in the 3D realm.
Yeah, this is. I played this on the PlayStation. I believe that was its first release. There was also a like delay between when they published it for, I think, in Japan and then also in the PAL region. Because I think it came out in 97 for a lot of other folks, but in North America here, it took a little while to get over. It was developed by Capcom.
Of course.
Big old company.
Capcom.
Big.
Capcom, big. I'm sure you know some of the games they have published because it's just this monolithic company. They both develop and publish games, so like not only are they making stuff in-house, but also like licensing their name to other companies, other places that have developed it. So there's just a shitload of games. Some of the most notable would be Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, like most of the Mega Mans, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Dead Rising, Monster Hunter, Onimusha, Ace Attorney.
That's quite a stable. It's a stable of games.
It's a lot of games, and a lot of like quintessential games, no less. Like fucking Street Fighter? Dang, dude. Dang.
That is the base of the pyramid of video gaming.
Yeah. And not only that, it was produced by this guy named Kenji Inafune, who he was like critical to a lot of the like Mega Man games. You may recognize him because he started like a Kickstarter back in when like Kickstarter was just starting for Mighty Number 9, which is like his Mega Man follow-up that unfortunately enough ended up not being that tight.
Bummer.
But he did work on a lot of other stuff. He worked on the Street Fighter 1, that like DuckTales game, almost every Mega Man and Mega Man X for the first part of its career there. Phoenix Wright games, obviously the Mega Man Battle Network games, and also this. So he had some pedigree to him and was definitely like on the Mega Man tip for a while there.
All right, cool.
I do have a review from Consoles Plus. Consoles
Plus, where are they from?
I don't know, because their last review came out in 2001, so I can't really tell.
What language is it in English?
It is in English now that I have translated it, yes.
Okay.
Side note, their last review was H3O, the surfing video game for PlayStation 2.
I've never heard of that one.
Neither had I.
Wow.
All right, here's what they maybe had to say after I have mangled it with Google Translate.
All right.
many times over. They said, sort of, it has a simple process. Furniture in the square are limited, creative, and difficult to remove. In the end, fans are overjoyed.
That's it?
That's it, 70%, not bad.
That was almost like a haiku.
I know, I kind of thought that. It was a little, it's got a little pentameter to it there. It's nice.
Yeah. Furniture in the square.
Furniture in the square are limited.
Wow. That's some deep stuff.
It's some deep stuff.
It's like
that means almost nothing. I think I may have to scale back how many times I run these things through the translate because it is unintelligible what they actually thought of this video game.
Yeah, I have no idea what they actually mean.
But you know, it's a fun little thing we do now.
It's a fun goof.
So normally I would ask you to describe this game.
I've never played this game.
I was gonna say. You watched some videos.
I did.
But I feel like this may be easier for me to just go over real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Do your thing.
Because this is my baby.
This is you. This is you.
It is a 3D action-adventure game, I think is the closest description as far as category goes.
Yeah.
You play as Mega Man, and it's like kind of an open world. Like you can't just go anywhere, anytime, but it is a consistent world that you can go from point A to point B in, and like those things persist. You get like story quests, essentially, like you have to go do something, and then it precedes you through like another part of the world, and you go to this other thing, and it brings you down to a dungeon. You collect like money, zenny in the game, and you can like upgrade Mega Man. Side note, what the fuck is zenny, dude?
It rears its head so often. I was going to ask the same thing. Is it a Capcom thing?
Okay, so Giant Bomb says zenny is a unit of currency used in multiple games produced by Capcom, specifically. The first use of it was in the Dragon Ball comics. The creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, claims that 100 zenny is equal to $1.
Huh. Okay. Interesting that he has to quantify it.
I think it's just a Capcom thing.
So 100 zenny is equal to $1. Isn't that what yen is? Isn't 100 yen equal to $1?
I think that's pretty close, yeah. Or at least it may have been when he wrote that.
So it's just their version of yen.
I think so. Weird, man. So, yeah, it's in a bunch of Capcom games is the answer. That's the weirdest fucking thing. So, Zenny. You collect Zenny. And, so there's like an upgrade sort of tree thing where you can upgrade how Mega Man shoots, like the different weapons that he has, your movement abilities.
Yeah, it's got some RPG elements to it, yeah.
Yeah, which was, again, 1997 or 8, pretty novel.
Definitely.
There was lots of voiceover, which was pretty cool. That's just sort of a fact about it.
The voiceover wasn't so good when I went back to watch some of the videos.
I was about to say, the quality of voice acting, a little bit bad. But the fact that there was voice acting in a lot of the game, I thought was pretty cool in 1997.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's kind of the bird's eye view of this game.
Okay. Yeah, I have some questions.
I have answers, probably.
I have some questions for you. I'm going to try to make a grilled chase sandwich. I'm going to grill you, okay? So
that should definitely be a segment name.
A grilled chase?
A grilled, chase. So, grilled chase sandwich for sure.
Grilled chase sandwich?
Yeah.
Well, there we go. New segment, grilled chase sandwich, where Chase has played the game, but I have not. So I'm going to ask him a lot of questions, and he will have to defend his love for this game and why we're talking about it and giving it shine on our
Trying
platform.
to figure out why this game is actually good and not a pile of dump.
Yeah. So, first question. Besides the obvious 3D nature of the game, what else drew you to this game as a Mega Man specific game? Why couldn't it have been just anybody else in this game? Why did it have to be Mega Man, or was that just does it being Mega Man add anything to the game? Is what I'm trying to get to, I guess.
I think the only thing it added was that it got me to rent the video game.
Good marketing tool.
Definitely. Because I was like, I like Mega Man X. I played that for the Super Nintendo. There hadn't been a Mega Man on there was a Mega Man X for the PlayStation, but I had not played a 3D Mega Man. I was like, okay, I can fuck with that. Game looked cool. It was sort of the mid to late 90s. Mario 64 was kind of the only one of these games that was fucking good. Ocarina of Time had yet to come out. So
damn,
the field was still shifting for 3D games, and people were still figuring out what was good.
Okay.
So to answer your question, the face and name of Mega Man were all that got me there, but the game is really not a Mega Man game as far as like the traditional aspects of those games go.
Gotcha. Okay.
It doesn't play like a Mega Man or Mega Man X really at all, other than like you have a gun on your arm.
You have a gun on your arm, and you get
your blue
power-ups every now and then. Do you get power-ups specifically from bosses?
Not in the same way. I feel like with most Mega Man games, it's like a specific, like now you can shoot fire, or you have a thunder shot or something. This one, there are upgrades, but a lot of the time it's like how powerful your shot is, or how quickly you're shooting, or the range at which you can hit people.
Sure.
There are some like alternate gun upgrades later. It's like homing missiles and shit like that, but by and large, this game was not power-up game driven like the other Mega Mans were.
Gotcha.
Pretty different.
Is there any good platforming in it?
Sort of. I think this game... So there was a couple paradigms when games moved over to like 3D, right? Like Mario said, we are going to make the platformer of 2D into a platformer in 3D.
Sure.
And that works really well. That said, there was a bunch of trash-ass platformers that came over to 3D, and like I think a lot of them didn't make that transition well at all. Like it was hard, right? Like it's hard to figure out how to translate into 3 dimensions, and so like games like the Castlevania games for N64 was fucking bad. The like Earthworm Jim game for 64 wasn't that great. The like Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero, the like fucking Blues Brothers game for the 64, Superman 64, all these games, like they did not go well from one to the other. And I think
hold on.
Yes.
There's a Blues Brothers game?
There is. It was not good.
And it was a platformer?
It was a platformer. It was not a very good video game.
Okay. I'm sorry. Continue. I just need a clarification.
Sure. And I think a lot of the problems that those games inherited was that they were trying to apply game design techniques from 2D into a 3D space.
Sure.
Nintendo had the luxury of a little bit of leeway, and they said, we're going to see what's fun in 3D, because it's probably not just what it was before. We got to make that feel good. I think Mega Man, it has some platforming, but that isn't really what it relies on. I think it more relies on the fun of combat as far as like shooting dudes from far away goes.
So it was really like one of the first third-person shooters then, huh?
Kind of, yeah. Like I'm sure there were examples of it from before, but this one was pretty quick, and like even before Zelda, it had like a lock-on system, which is pretty wild because everybody sort of cites Ocarina of Time as like this hugely influential game for its like Z targeting system. But this game definitely did it. And not only did it have like a hard lock system, it also had a soft lock system. I'm sure you've noticed this in games before where like you'll be sort of like moving your cursor around the room or something, and your cursor will get towards somebody, like an enemy. It'll sort of lock onto them, not like perfect, but it'll sort of draw you towards them a little bit, so that when you shoot, you've got some leeway there to kind of move around.
Sure. Okay.
Which is, again, a pretty wild thing to be able to kind of invent almost by the time you're making this game, well before any of the other like gaming ideas have been established as far as 3D shooters go.
Okay.
I think a lot of the game is pretty cheesable in the sense that like one of the main movement mechanics while you're shooting is strafing left and right. And you can mostly just run up to dudes and sort of just run around them while you shoot them, and that works for a lot of guys. It's not perfect. It doesn't work every single time, but that's a pretty like well-tread tactic for this game.
Sure.
But I also don't know of a lot of other better ways to do combat when you didn't have an analog stick. This game came out before analog sticks, so like the movement was tough to do.
Yeah, damn. That's true. It's just the D-pad still, huh?
Yeah. And so they had to map, I think, strafing to L1 and R1.
Man, that gives me flashbacks to playing things on the PSP.
Dude, it's so difficult. That like shooter, do you remember that? That was...
what was it called? It was like a weird space kind of shooter thing. And they were like, this is the game for PSP. And it was just not good. Coded Arms.
Holy shit. That was it. So can I go on just like a gush spree real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
When thinking about what was good about this game, I kept thinking of the phrase "for its time." So it's not good in hindsight for sure.
Sure.
It's really only impressive when you compare it against when it came out. Like I said, the game design, like motifs and structure for 3D games was not in place or solidified nearly as much as it has been in the last 25 years since or whatever. And so I feel like you really have to nail a lot of things for a game at the time to be good at all. Voiceovers, pretty rare. Upgrade systems in a game that isn't necessarily an RPG, pretty rare. Controls being at all okay. I'm reluctant to call the controls good, but the movement in the video game was good, if that makes any sense at all.
Sure.
Like, a lot of it was motion captured, and so it looks pretty good. Like, Mega Man's actual movement looks all right. It would benefit a lot from a second control stick so that you could kind of move the camera around, but like I remember like being able to get like upgrades to your feet, and so you could kind of skate along on the ground, which felt just like so good. The level design, super duper good. There are all these different entrances into like dungeons that you can go into across this like island that you're on, and initially they all feel like sort of disparate places and weird spots that you can sort of go to, but as the game proceeds you get upgrades to like how far and high you can jump and shit like that. And if you go back into these dungeons, you'll like see that it's actually all part of one larger dungeon, and you can traverse like the whole place underground if you want to.
So it's got like a Dark Souls vibe to it.
Which is fucking sweet.
Which gets you going for sure.
It gets me going, especially considering how old this game is. Again, for its time, right?
For its time.
The world building I thought was kind of impressive.
Yeah. I was reading the Mega Man wiki of this game, and the ancient times section for this game was quite thick and interesting.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's
There's a
like the
lot
story
going
of it's
on.
pretty crazy. And like they present it in a way that is not overwhelming. Like the game initially is very subdued in what it's giving you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, hey man, you're a treasure hunter and you're on this airship and it broke. You should go fix it.
You're also a sociopath and your name is Nathan Drake.
And you're gonna kill a bunch of people because that's cool, right? So it's like it's not initially overwhelming. There's not like a big exposition dump right at the beginning of like, long ago there was blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a dude, and so I think it presents that pretty well. It's also a like post-apocalyptic world, but they like don't overdo that. Like the game is very optimistic and bright and happy for most of it. But like if you just kind of dig a little bit deeper, it's like, well, yeah, the Earth is mostly water because we melted the ice caps and there was like an apocalypse and now we had to go back a couple thousand years. But you know, whatever.
Was it really that we melted the ice caps?
I'm fairly certain that that's what happens, or there was some kind of calamity or some way or another.
This
that
game
like,
came out before An Inconvenient Truth and everything and new.
Yeah. I'll have to fact check myself to see if that was actually the cause. But like, point being that most of humanity lives on these like islands essentially because there's no one major landmass.
Okay.
And so again, they don't beat you over the head with that. It's just sort of in the background. And so it's a cool way of telling a story where they don't they sort of trust you to figure it out if you want to. It's there if you want it, but not necessarily like they're not, you know, being like, hey, check out this exposition until kind of like the end of the game where it's like, here's the boss. He's a guy who's this robot that was dead for 3,000 years or whatever.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, I think as a kid, I was definitely drawn to it for the world, the vibe of it, that like sort of happy-go-lucky vibe.
That
despite
vibe, baby.
Some other stuff going on, you can kind of get the sense that this world isn't quite what it seems.
Mm-hmm.
It is, the world building is the opposite of Dark Souls, as far as it's like coat of paint.
Sure.
There's a lot of story underneath, but it is a very happy game, whereas Dark Souls is a very depressing game that has a lot going underneath.
Gotcha. Okay. That's
Cool.
fun. That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's tight. Everything doesn't have to be sad.
Yeah, factual. Right. It is factual.
You can have a good time with a good game and have it be happy.
It's also kind of funny. Like even watching it in hindsight, I'm like, this is, you know, it's not like hilarious.
It's not a knee slapper.
It's not a knee slapper, but you know, had me chuckling a few times, which again, in video games, hard to do.
Sure, especially back then. I don't think it was humor was still pretty. I mean, I guess there were all the like the Double Fine games that had humor very baked in.
Like the
but that's a very
the like LucasArts games that were like the point and click and shit like that.
Yeah, like Grim Fandango or
Sam and Max.
Day of the Tentacle. Day of the Tentacle, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's totally the requirements of those games technically are much different, so you can add in some of that humor more easily.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe those were like people who were already funny who decided to try and figure out how to make a game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like I feel like for a while you had to be a programmer who was also funny, which is like not a great combination. Speaking from experience, it's not. It's kind of hard to do.
When are we going to review one of your games, Chase?
Oh God, just fucking take me out back and shoot me, bro. I would rather fucking die. This is the worst experience.
Do you have copies of them?
Oh God, I'm sure they're on the internet somewhere.
I want to play one. I want to play them all.
You can dig up Please Rise Winston if you really want to. It's a game about the power of language. Any final questions for me? I'm ready to answer whatever you got left.
If you were to make this game nowadays, what would you do?
Great question. I have no idea. It needs to be almost an entirely different game. Like, so much of it would have to change.
Sure.
Because, like, okay, so 3D shooters are a different thing now.
Yeah, this can't be like Fortnite. You're not going to win against Fortnite, that's for sure.
I don't think it can be like a militaristic shooter. Like, I don't think that would feel necessarily great.
Okay.
You could probably do some over-the-shoulder stuff that would be fine, but...
You know, I know you haven't played this game, but maybe like a Nier Automata?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen enough of that game to kind of know the comparison you're making. I think that might be true.
There is some shooting elements. There's some fighting fisticuffs elements.
Right.
There's RPG elements. Open world traversal. I think it could fit.
Yeah,
General
I think you may be
Japanese
right there.
weirdness to it.
I was trying to think of other like Platinum games that would work. I was going to say Bayonetta, but I think that may be over the top. That's not exactly what Mega Man does.
Yeah.
I think the mechanics of it are probably the biggest question mark, but like the level design and world building, I think is probably the easiest thing. Of like, there's so much you could do with like procedural dungeons to like make it sort of a fun thing, and then also, or like something you could go grind on to try and get more money or something for upgrades. And then also like actual handcrafted dungeons that you go through to proceed the story. I feel like you could just transport the vibe over. That would still work pretty well. The like kind of bright visual style that they had, I think would work pretty well now.
I think so. Yeah, kind of make it almost like a Mario-esque game, because they do that bright style, I think, very well for the modern modern style of graphics and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm still stuck on trying to think of what the mechanics of actually playing this game would feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it was so much earlier than these other games. Like, I could imagine this game easily not feeling very good, of just like kind of stopping and hitting L2 and zooming in to try and shoot your buster and it not feeling great or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, it still needs to feel pretty fast. And so I think your Nier comparison is probably pretty apt.
Yeah, because they can like boost around. They can jump pretty high and boost in the air, jump and like kind of float and stuff like that. So
right.
I think it would, and they're androids anyways. So
yeah,
I think it fits. So just have Platinum Games make the new Mega Man Legends.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Because like traversal, I feel like ended up feeling kind of important in this game, insofar as like you get upgrades and can move faster and jump farther and higher and like go quicker and shit like that. So that's a pretty easy path to try and upgrade you on.
Mm-hmm.
I think varying enemy types would definitely help, because it only had a few in here. I mean, like, again, for its time, there was a lot, but I think you would need to make enough to the point where you would have to approach different enemies differently than just strafing around them and shooting, that it would require some other kind of strategy.
Yeah, you need to really play up all of the different weapons and power-ups that you can get as Mega Man, like from all the different games, like the boomerangs and the electricity and the flames and stuff like that. And
right.
You can maybe put in a system like certain things work against different enemies and some don't, and you have to kind of go through different levels that are different areas of the world that have different enemies. Make it almost like a Zelda-ish type thing, where each area has a different upgrade you need to get, which then makes it easier once you get it.
Kind of like Metroidvania-y almost, of like, here's the one thing that you need that's going to make this place a little bit easier to get through.
Yeah, and the first thing I thought when I saw the Mega Man Legends, like, okay, this is kind of like Mega Man Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty similar.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Just build fucking Breath of the Wild for Zelda, dude, or for Mega Man.
That'd be kind of cool.
I want it. Let me have it. Anything else that we need to say about this one?
No, I'm good.
Cool, all right. So this time, that's actually going to be the last segment that we do.
Yeah.
Because we spent a lot of time talking about video games. And we don't want to waste your time by trying to be funny for another half an hour.
Yeah, there's no point. I'm all out of margarita, so I'm done. I got nothing left in me.
Plum out of joke juice here.
I can't be funny now. All the tequila's gone.
All the pod juice is out.
All the pod juice has run dry.
So yeah, we are on Twitter. If you want to go follow us there, you can always toss us a review on iTunes, or actually don't think Spotify does reviews, but go listen to us there if you so desire.
Mm-hmm.
I guess with that, David, do you have any gaming wisdom?
Recycle your food. Recycle your trash. Recycle your trash, so that we don't have to live in the Mega Man Legends world.
Fair.
I don't want there to be no humans around. I don't want the last human alive to be called the master. I don't want there to be the master system that is then enslaving humanity, or robot humanity afterwards. People can do it, everybody.
We can do it.
Recycle.
Do some composting. Do some recycling.
Walk to work if you can.
Walk to work. Eat Impossible Burgers. They're not bad.
Ride a bike.
Ride a bike.
Ride a bike. Fart less.
Eat your neighbor.
Eat your neighbor.
If your neighbor eats a ton of beef, eat him.
That's a twofer.
Say, how do you like it, neighbor?
Yeah, because you're bringing down the population, and you're also taking out someone who eats beef.
Yeah.
This is easy. This is simple math, everybody.
Blow up some cars.
Yeah.
No, don't blow up cars. Don't blow up cars.
No, Chase. Radicalize them.
Okay. Let's do some radicals. Here I go radicalizing again.
Let's do some light radicalization.
Some light radicalizing.
Just some light.
How about blow up some cars? Let's take down this fucking economic system, huh?
They don't care about you. They just care about profits.
This, unfortunately, is true.
You got no rebuttal to that one.
I got no comeback. David, I'm a dirty lib cuck. I don't want this fucking capitalistic system anymore, dude. I need my safe spaces and my communism. Right. Don't talk to me before I've had my communism in the morning. Oh, God.
Oh, his steaming cup of communism. Really getting me going.
Really getting me going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, bro. Recycle. Make a little compost pile.
Mm-hmm.
Poop in the backyard.
Poop in the backyard.
Install a bidet in your raised bed garden.
There you go. Get that poo water all over your plants.
I hear it's great for plants.
Jesus. Okay, I think that's good.
That's great. See you all next week when we will be pooping in our garden.
Yeah, all right. I'll see you.
Okay, bye.